Okay, we've got a never before heard interview here with a teacher, one of Madeline Soto's teachers. I want to get through this. God help me, I don't really want to edit this because I have space on my iPhone, so I want to get it on my iPhone and get it up. I was all up in Starbucks when the YouTuber The Docket texted me to let me know we have this interview. I came home, I've listened to it twice. It's a little bit over 12 minutes, and we do get some more insights. Now, if you remember, Linda Rasmussen, that's her name. She's very soft-spoken. I could hear her birth date, 1967, and she's a 7th grade teacher. She's been a teacher for 15 years, but she was able to teach Maddie for about 7 months, so she had some insight. So when she was interviewed February 29th, it was 1:53 p.m. So remember, this is one day after Stephen Stearns has been arrested on suspicion of harming Madeline Soto. But it's one day before she's found. So they didn't know where Maddie was at this point. So I'm reading in the document, we noticed that we had a snippet, information about who this woman was, but we did not have the audio. You know, we've been comparing with a fine-tooth comb. What do we have? What are we missing? So this is one of the audio interviews, short, and remember it's very much redacted, so you won't hear Maddie's name, and you won't hear certain actions, or we have to get contextual clues. So let me tell you first what you're about to hear, and then I'll just play the whole thing in full for you so I can move on, and still, I've got a lot of other videos to upload. Linda identified herself as basically Maddie's teacher, Maddie's 7th grade teacher. It is pretty sad to me. Linda was familiar with Maddie. She was a student in one of her classes, typically very quiet in class, and frequently has to be reminded to pay attention as she's known to lose focus. She did talk about Maddie just losing focus. Maddie could be chatty with her other little girlfriends, and, you know, then the teacher would separate them, and Linda says, well, then it would be, you know, your fault. You're picking on them when you separate them. But Maddie is normally very reserved and receptive to redirection. However, Linda does talk about the week before Maddie went missing, she was more easily agitated. She did talk, and this is what saddens me. She said Maddie was not disrespectful to her as a teacher, but Maddie might, I think she was saying Maddie herself would roll her eyes, or I don't know if she was comparing it to, you know how students roll their eyes. Well, she was saying Maddie had some kind of an attitude. When Linda would specifically focus on Maddie, redirect her, she talked about Maddie's failing grades. Something was really going on the week prior to Maddie's disappearance and death. So her teacher picked up on it. And the officer, you'll recognize his voice from other, interviews we've listened to. He asks her specifically different questions like, did Maddie have a learning disability? Or I think they take it out because he must say, or was she like normal kids? I feel like they redacted that. You try and guess what they're redacting. I feel like that's what they're redacting. It makes you feel sad for Maddie and whatever she must have been experiencing. It says in the past, Maddie has expressed that she was upset and asked to be excused to see the school counselor. However, she never revealed what she was upset about. Indeed, he does ask her specifically, did she reveal any harm going on at home? And Linda, just like all the other teachers, basically says no. Linda did not describe Maddie as sad or depressed and stated she has never made any statements that she wanted to harm herself or harm anyone else. So it's pretty short, and the officer apologizes for interrupting her day. But the woman at the end, I think she calls it kind of like heart-rending or heartbreaking or something. They know at this point Stephen Stearns has been arrested. They're probably not feeling too good about Maddie's state of being, even though they don't know where she is at that point. So it's just sad. Every little interview we get, every grain of truth, every observation we receive as we keep putting in these FOIAs, gives us a new shade and shadow of what was happening. But I find it very astute of this woman, and she even, you can tell she feels, I won't say guilty, but she's looking back and she's saying, well, is that why Maddie was, had a little attitude or feeling a certain type of way the week prior to this interview? interview, her last full week of life, as it were, because of what she was dealing with. So it's sad to hear the teacher kind of not reminisce, but look back almost in a guilty way, like I should have known, or, she doesn't say these things. You will hear. Again, there's a lot of audio redactions. It's really short. I think these interviews, they can be sort of probative, but they're not really deep because they knew Maddie was missing, but they didn't know Stefan had taken her life at this point. I feel like if these interviews had taken place one day later, March 1st or whatever, then maybe the interviews with the teachers would have gone on even longer. But could they have really provided anything more than what they provided here? It made me feel sad to hear Maddie lost focus. She was failing, and this teacher knew something was going on with Maddie in the week prior. So whatever it was, with Maddie having a little bit of a negative attitude, maybe rolling her eyes, not being disrespectful, such a sweet girl, even all she was going through, she was not disrespectful to this teacher, but something was wrong with Maddie. And that leads me to believe, okay, was Maddie standing up for herself? Was she feeling like, I'm about to be a teenager, I don't want to put up with this business, I don't want to put up with these adults? And did that translate to whatever happened Sunday night, Sunday, February 25th, the night she probably lost her life? Did she finally fight back against Stefan? Did she say, I'm not taking this anymore? That's what I'm wondering. So that's what we have. There's more requests being put in. I'm going to just let you listen to the whole thing. We'll see how it looks. I don't know if I can get anything visual over it, but I want to read 1 Peter 4:11. Whoever speaks to the congregation is to do so as one who speaks the oracles, utterances, the very words of God. Whoever serves the congregation is to do so as one who serves by the strength which God abundantly supplies, so that in all things God may be glorified, honored, and magnified through Jesus Christ, to whom belongs the glory and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Let's listen to this entire uninterrupted interview coming up, about 12 minutes long, and I'm going to get back to working on all these other videos I have to edit and upload. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. We will continue to give you updates on the Stefan Stearns case, as well as many, many others. Thank you.
Thursday, February 29th, 13:53 hours. It's Detective Francis Hunt for OCSO case 24-011313. Can you state your full name?
Linda Madeline Rasmussen.
How do you spell your last name?
Rasmussen.
And then what's your birthday, Linda?
4/17/1967.
What's a good phone number for you?
Plunder, true crime audio.
Do you mind if I get just a little bit closer to you? So that thank you. Cool. And the phone sometimes doesn't pick everything up. Cool. So, what's your role here?
7th grade. I also teach Eagle Express in the morning tutoring.
Okay. And for how long have you worked here?
This is my 8th year.
Wow. Were you a teacher before?
My 9th.
Okay. Sometimes it gets like that, right? How long have you been a teacher for?
My 9th year. I work for OCPS now well over 15.
Okay.
I started out as a substitute teacher, then I became a physical education para.
Okay.
Left for a year and a half, worked as director over at the Chick-fil-A, then came back as teaching.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You've got a long and varied career. So in total, what you said, 15 years
Yeah.
here at OCPS about. Gotcha. All right. So you teach 7th grade regular. In any of your class periods, do you have a young lady by the name of?
Yes, she's in my 4th period.
Okay. She's 4.
Right after lunch.
Plunder, true crime audio.
Got it. And about what time is that?
On a regular day, it is 12:38 after the recharge till about 1:30.
Got it. So how is this your first year?
Yes.
Got it. So you've known her for what, 7-ish months now? Okay. And can you, as someone who's known her for about 7 months, can you tell me a little bit about her? Like, describe her to me.
She's very on and off, very quiet,
Okay.
very chatty with some of the girls.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned to Miss McAdam the specific girl she chatted. And of course, as a teacher, you separate them,
Yes.
and then they think you're picking on them. But
Mm-hmm.
kind of where she would zone out a lot, to
Okay.
where I'd have to redirect. Hey, are you taking your notes? Do you need any help?
Gotcha. What's her behavior like?
This last week, well, prior to her, she was a bit flippant, a bit rolling the eyes.
Oh, okay.
And normally she's just really quiet, reserved, keeping to herself. But she seemed to get a little bit of an attitude. But not,
Sure.
she wouldn't disrespect me. Just, you get the students that roll their eyes and it's like, okay.
Okay.
You're not liking me moving you here? That's okay, I get that.
Was there anything in particular that was, like, I guess, agitating her that you can remember?
She didn't seem agitated unless you spoke to her directly, or if I reminded her you need to be taking your notes, or
Gotcha.
stuff like that. But
So
no.
normal stuff. It's
Yeah.
just this last week, she's been responding
Correct.
just different, with more attitude.
Mm-hmm.
Is that, I guess it's not common of her from the way you're describing.
No, she's normally quiet. Like I said, she's normally quiet. She zones out to where you're having to redirect her.
But she's normally, like, more receptive to
Yeah.
just direction or
Yeah.
redirection, rather. Okay.
I even made a comment to Miss Rivera, and Miss Rivera would look, we're going, yeah, because I have Miss Rivera, she's
Yeah.
the co-teacher for the ESC students in that class.
Okay. So she is in a special education program, correct?
They're integrated with
Okay.
the regular classroom, so yeah, we have like split classes to where half the students are ESC, the other half are just regular students.
Okay. Is she diagnosed with, like, a learning disability, or does she have trouble, I guess?
She does have a what is it called, an IEP, I think.
Gotcha. And is that just for, is her mental capacity that of normal, or is that just more a learning?
No, I've noticed, aside from her being quiet or zoning out and stuff like that, no.
Okay. She's just
Typical.
typical. Gotcha. Okay. I guess, is there anything that you have noticed in the past few weeks or months that would have led to a change in her behavior this past week that you can think of?
I've been racking my brain on that, thinking, you know,
Well, that's fine if not.
aside from this past week, I mean, to where she was more attitude, I guess,
Yeah.
but no. And then I'm thinking, oh my God, was she quiet because something was happening, or, you know?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's kind of the reason that we wanted to come out and talk, is just because you all have seen her more than we have. You know more about her than we do.
But she interacts with other students. Like I said, the girls go together and do their little talks and whatnot.
Have you ever seen her act in a way that you would describe as, I guess I know she's normally quiet, but would you describe that as, like, sad or depressed or anxious, or is there any negative emotion that you would associate with the way she acts?
On a couple of occasions, she would request to go to the counselor. 'Cause
Okay.
She was sad.
Gotcha. How often was that?
Not a huge amount of times. I mean, maybe in the time that I've had her, 3-4 times to where
Okay.
if I would redirect or whatnot, she would shut down and get upset. And I would ask her, do you need to go see the counselor? And she said yes.
Did she ever say, like, what she was upset about at that point in time, or?
No,
Okay.
nothing.
Okay. So, as far as your observations of her daily behavior, if I'm understanding you right, it doesn't sound as though you would describe anything that she did as particularly sad or depressed, other than the times that she said she was upset and she wanted to go see the counselor. And when she did, she didn't necessarily give a reason. It was just not feeling great. But that was less than 5 times in the past 7 months. Okay.
And I don't think it was in the recent, I'm trying to think. I think that was prior to the holiday break.
So not even
time,
all that
not
recently. How are her grades in your class?
Currently, she's failing.
Okay.
She's not turning in work.
Okay.
Even classwork that she does in class, she doesn't turn it in. And it's typical for a lot of the students, like, hey, you got to turn in your work. Okay, well, we've got 2 weeks left in the quarter, and then they start pushing them in. But,
Has she always been that way since starting your class, or is that more of a recent shift?
More of a... She's doing it more than what she used to do it.
Okay. And has that been like a gradually progressive, she's turning in
Getting
less
it
and
worse,
less
yeah.
and less? Or has there been like a definitive shift of, she
Turning
was
it
doing
in.
okay and then all of a sudden she wasn't?
She's been like borderline to where I'm not sure if it's because of the IP or not, but if I give her a test, I'd have to redirect her. You need to focus on your test. It takes a lot longer than
Yeah.
typical 7th grade student to do that. But
Got it.
recently she's not been turning in anything.
And has she ever expressed wanting to hurt anyone else or hurt herself? Or I know you would have reported it,
Yeah.
if she had said something, but has she ever said anything that indicated to you that that's something she thinks about? Harming anyone else or harming herself?
Oh, no. She's never verbally said anything.
And does she argue with the other students at all?
No.
Okay. Sounds like a pretty easygoing kid.
Yeah.
For the most part, to be honest. Let's see what else I got here.
Plunder, true crime audio.
I guess in the times that you have had her, have you ever seen anything that's made you concerned for anything happening at home with either anyone else?
Nothing aside from, just a quiet student.
Okay. But she's never talked about home life being uncomfortable or
Not to me.
expressed or acted in any way that would indicate to you she was being abused or harmed. Have you ever had any
I'm trying to think. Maybe at one of the IEP meetings. I've had so many of them, so.
Yeah, I bet.
Not through talking points. I know they can to do makeup tests, makeup work, or whatnot.
Sure.
So yeah, that's
Okay.
about it. Nothing one-on-one.
It doesn't sound like anything stands out as far as conversations
No,
with
it's
mom.
just typical conversations with parents.
Gotcha.
I love the app talking point. It goes straight to the
Oh yeah.
text.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm sure before
Yeah.
talking point,
But
you
aside-
remember PTA
yeah.
meetings
Oh
and
yeah.
all sorts of stuff.
Not only that, just emails, like respond to the email. But
Cool.
no, just back and forth. Hey, they're missing this. It's coming to the end of the quarter. Other than that, nothing.
Okay.
She did text or send a talking point message Monday evening saying, was she in class today? Responded, no, she was not.
Okay. Before you go today, would you be able to print out any messages that you, if you're able to, and then give them to,
I can do that.
and then definitely give them to me before I go?
Absolutely.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Sorry, I was in a PLC meeting. That's why my computer.
It's okay. I'm sorry to interrupt your day like
No,
this.
it's
I know
okay.
you're
No,
doing a
I
lot.
just-
But,
It's heart-wrenching.
is there anything else important that, as someone who's known her for several months, you think that will help me or help us?
The only thing I have are our math books
Okay.
that she takes her notes in. That's about it.
Okay. Would you mind giving those to
I could give them the.
and so that way I can take a look through them?
Sure.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Well, I don't have any other questions for you. Do you have any for me while we're... Okay. I'm going to go ahead and end this. 1405 hours.